Hello everyone and welcome to today's webinar on the marketing assets of the latest ITIL 4 module that was introduced last month, Digital and IT Strategy. My name is Vasilis Andros and I'm People Search Product Manager for Business and IT Qualifications. Before starting our session today, can we please check that you can all hear me well? Can you type yes in the chat box to verify this and move forward? Can someone please type yes if you can hear me well? Okay, I cannot see any answer yet in the chat. Okay, and we can move forward now. I got a confirmation. Together with me today, I'm very pleased to have Gemma Moorhead, Product Marketing Lead in Axelos, who will give us an overview of the available marketing material for the Digital and IT Strategy module and how this latest addition completes the ITIL 4 scheme. But before passing the microphone to Gemma, I would like to clarify a few things. First, that this session is being recorded and you will get access to it in the People Search Partners area after a day or two. And the second thing is that all participants will remain on mute for the entire session to avoid any background noises. However, you can ask all your questions in the chat during the presentation, and towards the end, Gemma and I will try to answer all of them, if not all, most of them. We'll have approximately 15 minutes for that towards the end. So without any further delay, Gemma, I think the microphone is yours. Thanks for being with us today.
Cool, thank you, Vasilis. Thank you for having me. So as said, I'm Gemma Moorhead, Product Marketing Lead at Axelos. I've been at Axelos for about 4.5 years now. First, I used to work on the Brasilia account, and then I've been actually working on ITIL since November 2018. So I've been very much involved in launching all of the modules, and it's been a brilliant 1.5 years. And so I'm looking forward to taking you through some of what we've been doing. I'm gonna, in the interest of any technical issues, I'm gonna go off camera while I'm presenting. No one wants to see a buffer face or anything like that. So I will just quickly go off camera now. Great. So here's the agenda for today. Just a quick overview, and then there's another ITIL 4 overview. I've also picked out some recent trends and insights to follow. We're going to have a messaging update, a key messaging update, and we're going to do a quick refresh of the Develop Essential Skills campaign, which has been the campaign that's been launching all of the ITIL 4 Manager Professional Strategic Leader modules. Then we'll be going into a deep dive around Digital IT Strategy, the one that launched last month, a quick refresher on Managing Professional, and then an overview of the assets that are available, another refresher on the transition module, and then just a bit of a link between ITIL 4 and Foundation, the 4 Managing Professionals, and then, as Vasilis said, we've got some questions to follow, or time for questions afterwards, sorry. So as I said, it's an exciting time. It was the 25th of September, and we launched the final module in the ITIL 4 scheme, which was ITIL 4 Leader Digital IT Strategy. Just to quickly recap, the scheme is comprised of ITIL 4 Foundation, which is the building blocks of ITIL 4. Then we have the Managed Professional modules, there's the 4 of those, plus the transition module. And then the Strategic Leader designation consists of Direct Plan and Improve, which is a universal module, and also Digital IT Strategy. So we just, over the last sort of 6 months, we've seen a lot of change in the business world. And I've seen a few quotes that it's been 7 years of digital transformation in 7 months, 7 weeks. But Microsoft have said it was 2 years worth of digital transformation in just 2 months. So we've seen the market has had to respond very quickly to the changing world, remote working, for example. And just as the CEO Satya said, as new works norms evolve, organizations are realizing they need a comprehensive solution that brings together communications, collaborations, and business process built on a foundation of security and privacy. Now, I can see, and I'm sure hopefully you all can as well, how ITIL 4 really helps to bring, it is a solution that helps to bring all of those together through the different modules, and we're really seeing it as a sort of an enterprise solution. Also, we have seen that the job market is transformed, and it's not going to stop there. The fourth industrial revolution is having an effect, and we're going to need to reskill more than 1 billion people by 2030. And a couple other things I just wanted to pick out, which was around a recent study of 1,500 global CEOs and other C-suite professionals have said that one of their top concerns is attraction and retention of top talent. And again, so I think the modules are really there to help develop people's skills and to really meet the changing market needs and job skills gaps that are beginning to kind of see in the market. And then we have a couple of other insights and trends. Enterprise service management is a very hot topic at the moment, and we're seeing that IT service management tool usage becoming mainstream. So we're seeing the evolution of ITSM into ESM, which I think gives ITIL 4 a very good place for sort of future certifications. And we are also seeing that ITSM and ITIL processes are being adopted by other functions across the business. So this helps with, not only is it now just the IT function that should be taking the modules, there are other functions that are looking to sort of build on the best practice that ITSM and ITIL has been developing to really help their functions be more efficient and look at managing workflows in the sort of manufacturing world to ensure they're completed. And the final sort of one we thought was T-shaped professionals, and it's embedding that common language across ITSM and also non-ITSM teams. So we did actually present this back in March, which was back in the office actually. I was with Claire as well, and we did cover these slides then, but I thought it might help just to recap over these. So as I said, the fourth industrial revolution is building on the third, and it's characterized by a fusion of technologies that are blurring the lines from the physical, digital, and biological spheres. And we've seen some waves. So the first wave is the digital consumer. They want more interactive and personal experiences. Wave 2 is the digital enterprise, where that we need to optimize functions, costs, and collaboration, which helps to build greater productivity and efficiency. And emerging digital operations, so different technologies and different ways of working are revolutionizing the way that digital operations are functioning. And just to quickly, another quote from, it was the CEO of Accenture: digital is the main reason just over half of the companies on the Fortune 500 have disappeared since the year 2000. So in other words, if organizations don't move to digital, they're in danger of losing competitiveness and potentially going out of business. And then just a couple more stats here. 82% of CEOs currently have a digital transformation initiative in place, and 84% of CEOs expect digital initiatives to significantly increase profit margins. So we know that the market is looking at digital and looking to invest, and this is where our IT certification, ITIL 4, can help to support them. And I'm sure you all know what ITIL 4 is, but it's the most widely recognised framework in IT and digital enabled services in the world, and it's utilised by 9% of Fortune 500 companies. And then just a couple of quick overview of ITIL 4. It's the latest evolution of the framework. It provides a flexible IT and digital operating model, and it prepares IT and digital professionals with skills they need for the digital age, which will also then support the organizational business goals as well. So as I said, there's a key message update that I wanted to highlight. So we've evolved a time of unprecedented change into a time of exciting change full of opportunity. And the organisations are still facing the sort of same challenges that they initially have, but we wanted to put more that how the digital is actually an enabler and it's going to help businesses. And this change has been reflected across key assets, including the ITIL 4 booklet, the fact sheet, and it's in the 5 messaging matrix files, which are all available on the PeopleCert portal. Just one other update, we have got some animations which have this old messaging in as well, which we will be updating over the next month as well. So as I said, just a quick recap on the Essential Skills campaign. So we launched this campaign back in November last year, so November 2019, and it is all around the ITIL 4 Managed Professional and Strategic Leader modules, and it's really highlighting that these modules give candidates and professionals the essential skills they need to meet the changing organisational needs, customer and market needs. And here's into the launch of the latest one, Digital and IT Strategy. So as with all the other 4 modules, we have developed worlds, which we're, in the coming months, will develop into the ITIL 4 multiverse. And so basically this module and around digital IT strategy, we wanted to demonstrate how it can help to shape, influence and drive strategic business decisions in line with evolving customer business landscape. So the central world is represented or surrounded by smaller islands, which represent all of the 7 external PESTLE factors. So you can see we have, for example, economic there with the FTSE icon. We have social represented by sort of a residential homes with some icons to represent that it's around people. We have technology represented by emerging technologies, AI, and we have environmental in there with sort of showing sustainability side of it. And also the way that this graphic is created, and it's in line with all the others as well, is that we have sort of interconnected arrows that represent how these factors feed into the central world to shape the direction of the organisation. Then within the central world, we have, it represents almost the business strategy. So the blueprint elements and the kind of half developed buildings show how that the strategy is continually evolving to meet specific objectives and to meet the organisational vision, which could be a high velocity environment, for example. And then all throughout the different modules, we've had the blocks with the campaign sort of is underpinned by the Built on ITIL campaign, hence the blocks underneath, which is the real showing how ITIL is the way that an organisation is built on. So if I just go into some key messages, this is all in the messaging matrix as well, but which everyone has access to via the PeopleCert portal. But I want just to kind of pull out that ITIL 4 Leader will help professionals to align and manage their enterprise IT and digital strategies. It also responds to digital disruption by reshaping corporate strategy and adapting business and operating models. And also, it's very much around encouraging a culture that's more agile, resilient, lean, and continuously improving. So agile, resilient, and lean is very important. It's one of the new ways of working, emerging ways of working. So ITIL 4 has been very much developed in line with that, so that organisations can adopt and adapt and works with other frameworks. And of continuously improving has always been a kind of core ITIL approach. And as with the other slides, I don't know if you joined us last time, you'll see that we kind of also highlight some organizational problems and the key benefits. So, for example, it's a volatile, fast evolving digital world, digital disruptor, organizations and disruption of new technologies is something that is a challenge for businesses. And changing customer and novel customer needs. People want to be able to interact with digital products and services these days. So organizations really need to be able to meet their customer desires. And then sort of some key benefits. And again, everything is in the messaging matrix, which is a file that you can use to develop your own marketing messages and help to generate sales. So with ITIL 4 Data Digital and Strategy, you'll be able to, candidates can manage a robust and integrated digital strategy. They can co-create value in increasingly VUCA environments. And with the speed of technology and the emerging technologies development, this is only going to get more complicated, this VUCA environment. And it helps to align multiple teams to improve operational performance and customer satisfaction. So moving through to some example job roles. As before, we have provided a list of example roles. Now, this module is very much aimed at the C-suite, the aspiring C-suite, and senior IT, digital, and business managers and leaders. And so I've split it out into IT roles, so CIO, chief strategy officers, and an aspiring CIO and CSOs, director of digital, director of strategy operations. So it gives you an idea of the types of IT roles where this module would be most relevant. But also this module isn't just for IT. There's also non-IT roles that would benefit from taking this module, including chief executive officers, chief finance officers, chief human resources officers, head of business development, business relationship managers, head of finance. So there's a real broad target role area, and you can see it's very much at senior decision maker level. So if I just move through to the next bit. So this is where just give a quick managing professional refresher. So here are the four worlds, just as an overview. And as said before, the create, deliver and support is the engine room of the digital and IT function. And the blueprint element represents the business strategy. The working elements represent the creation and development of services based on the strategy feeding in. And the belts represent the co-creation of value between strategy and services. And the solid blue is to represent the managing professional designation. And we've actually made some updates to some of these messages since last time. As with ITIL 4, we are continually improving and evolving our messages as we get more experience and more knowledge from the market itself. So just a couple of things I wanted to highlight is that Create, Deliver, Support will provide a deeper dive into many concepts covered in ITIL 4 Foundation and more, including value streams, managing queues, stakeholder engagement, and prioritizing work. So this could be one way of positioning Create, Deliver, Support with ITIL 4 Foundation as a bundle, just kind of showing that it is the deeper dive. It's also for professionals in core service and product management activities. So people who are familiar with ITIL v3, this is a module that would help them. And it's also, it expands the scope of ITIL to include the creation of services. So again, anyone who's an ITIL v3 Foundation candidate looking to start their journey with ITIL 4 Foundation may then want to go to Create, Deliver, Support as they're already familiar with the concepts of ITIL. We also have updated some of the organisational problems and key benefits as well. This PowerPoint will be available for you to use as a resource, so I won't read out everything. But we wanted to kind of just highlight that we are actually evolving as we go as well. And the job roles are still still the same, although we have actually added product owner and service owner to each of the managing professional module roles. So moving into drive stakeholder value. This is about ensuring digital and IT services delight. So it's all around the relationships, customer experience and feedback. And as we explained last time, the jigsaw element is representing how the mutually beneficial relationships working together. We have the graphical icons to represent customer needs and feedback, and a solid blue for managing professional. So some of the new messages that we've kind of adapted here and evolved is that drive stakeholder value will teach IT professionals about engagement and interaction types between a service provider and their customers, users, suppliers and partners. And we're actually integrating both customer and provider perspectives of the service. And it's very much also around customer experience, user experience design, customer journey mapping, and the creation of compelling value propositions. And so the key organizational problems that this module helps to address would be customer expectations are evolving. As I said, we are all looking to have a digital way of interacting now. There's increase in demand, and maybe customer experience and user experience has been lacking in the past. So maybe if organizations are finding that they're not getting their feedback from customers isn't doing so well, this is where they may want to try and look at this module to help improve that. And just a key benefit, as I said, just pick out one, with it helps to ensure high customer satisfaction levels. With customers these days and the opportunities that they have, a bad customer experience can only mean that you may lose a sale or you may lose an unsubscribe. So it's very key for customers to remain engaged. And some example job roles which haven't changed since last time, apart from with product manager and service manager, but that you'd be looking at business relationship managers, UX and customer experience designers, customer service success managers, IT solutions managers. So there's a real kind of range there for you to have a look at. And so looking at the high velocity IT module, this is the future of digital and IT services. And this is helping IT professionals work like digital natives. And the design of the world is to show that this is the futuristic world. It's a goal for a digital native. There are elements that represent speed and direction, for example, the bullet train. And this module is about helping organizations to utilize new ways of working and emerging technologies. Again, some of the updated messages for you. This module will help demonstrate how digital organizations and digital operating models function in high velocity environments. It also demonstrates how the ITIL operating model principles and operational practices can be used for digital delivery and transformation. So again, these are kind of slightly new and adapted messages based on sort of what we've been working in with the market. And so our organizational problems that this module will answer include increasing digital consumption, services, digital disruptors, as I've already said, and the workforce needs to upskill for the digital era. So this is where the upskill message can really come through to help. And if we look at some of the key benefits, it will help evolve existing ITSM capabilities, develop the capabilities accessible to execute a digital transformation strategy, and you'll be able to create resilient, compliant, and valuable digital services. Let's go to the next one. And some more job titles here as well. You'll see they're very much engineer, like technical roles, architect roles, developer roles. So it's more of the non-ITSM roles that we're familiar with. And the final one, just to recap on, which is Item 4, Strategist, Direct, Plan and Improve. And this is all about bringing digital and IT strategies to life. So this module is all around continually improving services based on an existing strategy, which feeds in from the digital and IT strategy. So the blueprint element represents continual improvement, and it's the continual enhancement of services. And we have the solid red and blue just to represent that this is a module that sits within both managed professional and strategic leader designations. So a couple more updated messages for you. So it's about creating a learning and improving organisation aligned to strategic direction. It's also about, it helps candidates understand and professionals understand the importance of organisational change management. And there are some key organisational problems at the bottom, including unsuccessful organisational change initiatives, and IT is not always aligned to business goals. So this module will help align all work with an IT strategy, as well as improving, as well as in creating flexible, resilient workflows across teams. So if we go into some of the job roles, again, these are as they were before, and all of these job roles in each of these slides is in the messaging matrix files as well, along with a fuller, more broader set of key messages that you can utilise. So just going into the available assets, these are the assets available for all. So there's a little typo there. That should be each ITIL 4 and strategic leader modules. So we have got the messaging matrix, and that's in the portal. The new built-in ITIL worlds. So there's all 5 of those. We have an animation for digital and IT strategy, but it's ready to be sent to you actually. So we do need to. But we're gonna update that when we was gonna send those over to you. Sorry, once we have updated all of the other animations with the new messages. We have 4 infographics, and there is a digital and IT strategy one in the pipeline. And there are social media banners available, along with animated GIF banners and the booklet and the fact sheet, which have both been updated with that new message. So just quickly recapping on these, each of the messaging matrix has the value proposition. It has the number of key messages, as well as an overview of the target audience and the proper problem and opportunity statements, which the module helps to address. Within each messaging matrix, there's also a set of benefit statements, top level messages, and you can also, as well as more sort of longer messages. And we have also provided Twitter, LinkedIn, and some animated GIF messages, just to give you an idea on sort of how so either that you could use as a basis to develop your own messages, or to actually use just as required. And then, as I said, we've got the animations available. The digital and IT strategy one is live and will be sent along with all the other ones with the updated message. We will be developing a short 30-second version as well. And the infographics are all available on the PeopleCert portal, and there will be more. There are more in the pipeline, along with one for digital and IT strategy. Social media banners, as I said, we've now provided ones for ITIL 4 leader, but there are ones that talk about the launch, and then there's also a set that have focus on 5 key messages, and those key messages are all in the messaging matrix, and we've just picked out 5 key ones to develop. But these are only example assets that you can use or just take as a kind of inspiration. And as I said, we've got some animated GIF banners too. These ones are all available on the portal, and the booklet too, which has been updated. This overview booklet has been getting a lot of traffic actually from our sites, and I feel like it's actually a useful asset which gives a holistic overview of all of the modules, and it has now been updated with ITIL 4 digital strategy as well. And then the final asset that's still available, which is the overview fact sheet, and this just gives you kind of a snapshot view which can be used with new clients to show how ITIL 4, the key concepts of ITIL 4, what that are covered, and then the key concepts that are covered in create, deliver and support across dry stakeholder value, high velocity IT, and direct plan and improve. So these are kind of a good starting or talking point to find out where candidates fit within the scheme. And just quickly going into an overview of the Trailblazer campaign. So this module is still live and still available to take, and we are still seeing people posting on LinkedIn their certificates. And this campaign is all around the managing professional transition module, and it's around and the key messages are around fast tracking your career, be ahead of the curve and assist with fast organisational transition. It's one succinct course and exam. Now this one's a good opportunity for any candidates that you have in an organisation who may have taken the transition module, as they may be then looking to organise their teams with the other ITIL 4 modules. So it could be a good way as to open up conversations for cross-selling and upselling. And there's system assets available as well on the portal. There is an animation and a set of animated GIF banners, all available on the PeopleSet portal. Okay, actually, so I'm quite ahead of time, which is good. So this is the next section is around looking at ITIL 4 Foundation and the 4 managing professional modules. So here's the certification scheme and how it all fits together. I think this is familiar to a few of you. So you can see how the foundation underpins all the other modules. And I thought I'd just do a quick recap of ITIL 4 Foundation. And so it provides candidates with a grounding they need in the key ITIL 4 concepts, so service value system, service value chain, guiding principles, 4 dimensions of service management, and ITIL 4 practices. But it really is the start of any candidate's journey, excluding those who are eligible for transition. And it gives it's the building blocks of ITIL 4. And it will help, it will teach candidates the commonly used service management terms and concepts, helps candidates understand how value streams increase speed and efficiency. And it enables candidates to discover how modern IT and digital service organisations work. And all of this, the information is available in the ITIL 4 booklet as well. So I wanted then to pick up on a presentation that Louise has been doing at the ATO roadshows. And because one of the questions that we get is how can you sell foundation and push ITIL 4 managed professional at the same time? So 2 themes that we have seen and the way that you can use it is to focus firstly on the service value chain. So the service value chain is an interconnected activities where you convert demand into value. So if an organisation or a potential candidate or hiring manager you're speaking to has a good understanding of the service value chain, this is where you could try and demonstrate where members of their teams could fit. And this is not a prescriptive way, this is just an idea and a theme that could be adopted or taken forward. So as I said, if the candidate's very much like in the engine room, and so they're kind of responsible for any of these activities around obtaining and build, design and transition, deliver and support, then create, deliver and support would be an ideal next step after ITIL 4 Foundation. Moving into the next part. So if a candidate is very much in looking at engagement, or if they're looking to show how a product or service is then delivered on outcomes, then drive stakeholder value would be a good next step after ITIL 4 foundation. If we look at then the next element of plan and improve, and if they're more in strategic roles or they're looking at continual improvement, then this would be a good module to take after ITIL 4 for that candidate. And you'll see high velocity IT covers the whole spectrum of the service value chain, and it's very much for companies that are in high velocity environments, an example being Amazon, and therefore they have rapidly changing teams and needs. But one of the things that we thought, and Luis picked up on this as well in his presentation, is that not everyone's going to be familiar with the service value chain. So we could look at, there's another way to look at it, and if you're having conversations with senior decision makers around digital transformation, this is where you could sort of focus your conversations. So the 4 pillars are customer and employee experience, which is around customers, user experience, and it's not just around your customers, it's also employee experience, which will pick up on the retain and one of the challenges that CEOs are facing about retention. If you have an unengaged employee, then it's going to be very hard to retain that talent. Then the next one is values and behaviours and culture. So this is very much around people, and people are also very key in digital transformation. If you have a digital transformation program, but then your people are not engaged and going on the journey with you, then it might be hard to realise those benefits of the program itself. But yeah, this is looking at team and organisational culture, customer centricity, and it's about being able to welcome change. And then moving down to the bottom quadrant around business model, this is very much all around the value propositions, so your suppliers, your channels, resources and technology. So, and it looks at organisational change management and risk management and continual improvement. So it's encompassing everything. And the last one we have is operational excellence, and this is around making sure your operations are more effective and about how you can be more efficient. So it's bringing in lean, resilient, breaking down silos, technology investments, where to make those, either to continue using your legacy or look at getting some or improving legacy or getting some new technology in, and sourcing models and service integration. So it's just a different way of framing and a different potential theme to have conversations when understanding which training and which module will fit their teams. So just moving into the next slide. So the 4 pillars, not all of the, so to figure out create, deliver, supports these 3 key ones: operation excellence, customer experience, and values and behaviours and culture. Direct, plan and improve covers operation excellence and value and behaviours and culture as well, but this time it brings in the business model pillar. Drive stakeholder value, as I said before, is very much around people, so that it fits into the customer experience and employee experience and values and behaviours quadrants. And high velocity IT, like with the service value chain, it encompasses all the 4 pillars. And this might help with sort of your conversations going forward. So just looking at time, yeah, we're just at any questions. So a little bit earlier, but 19 minutes for questions.
Great, Gemma, thank you. Yes, now we can start the Q&A session. So please type your questions. I will start by those that were already in the chat. Someone already asked if the presentation will become available after the meeting, and you already covered that. That yes, together with the recording, will become available. And another question that we got is whether ATOs can translate those messages that you showed us to the local language and publish them on their website or on social media like YouTube.
So we are going to be translating some content. That is a question for translations. And actually, I do have also Akshay with me. Akshay, are you? Akshay Anand, who's ITIL ambassador. He might be able to also support on some questions. So, oh, here he is. Ooh. Don't know if he can hear us. But we do have some available translations, and there will be some news coming soon on managing professional translations for next year, and there will be some content that will be translated into these languages. But that's some news coming soon. Here's Akshay as well.
Hi, Akshay.
Hello. Sorry, WebEx chose to show my laptop camera, which is obviously closed. So that's why you were just seeing a black screen for a while.
That's fine. Nice to have you today.
Nice to be here. Thank you for having me. Oh, and my wife just messaged me to say somebody's at the door. Could I please go answer it? So if you'll give me 30 seconds, I'll be right back.
Okay.
But yeah, go back to translations. There will be some content available and I'll have some more news on that in the coming weeks, actually.
And Gemma, we also got another question regarding translations, whether the digital and IT strategy module will be translated in French. I think you just said that in a couple of weeks we'll have more news for tier 1 languages.
I have to be honest, we've only just literally launched digital IT strategy, so that I'm not sure where in the plan that is, but there will be some news on the managing professional modules coming over the coming weeks and the translation plans for those.
Exactly. Another one is whether there are any promo codes for the exams. Let me take this one, if I may. Yes, there is an existing promo code running. It's the bundle of ITIL 4 Foundation plus one of the managing professional modules that gives a significant discount on the managing professional module price. Please get in contact with your business development manager if you're interested in this software. And of course, to learn more local offers. Another question is, do you really believe that ATOs alone could market the new ITIL? I think we are here to support the network,
yes,
in any way we can, and we are also willing to get your feedback, your
definitely
proposals as well. I don't know, Gemma, would you like to comment on that?
No, yeah, we're here to support and help, and any feedback as well, because also being ATOs on the ground, you are also very close to our end users. So yes, could you also repeat the question for Akshay as well, please, Vasilis?
Yeah, someone asked whether they can translate the messages that you showed in the messaging matrices to the local language and publish those on their website or on social media if they want to promote the modules.
Okay, before I answer, what was Gemma's answer?
No, so I was talking about the other question, but so the translation ones, I said we could be able to have some more news on those in the coming months. But it was a question around ATOs. Do we think that ATOs...
So my opinion on the translations question is, the only thing I'd watch out for is to make sure that, for example, you use the translated glossary to make sure that you're using the same words that we're using, translated words, just so that we're consistent in, house styles, as it were. So when you say incident in whatever local language, you're using the same word that we have used to translate the English word incident into whatever that language is. That's really the only comment I can offer at this point.
Thank you. Another one is where does the digital and IT strategy module can be mapped to the service value chain that you showed before, Gemma?
So digital IT strategy is not built off the service value chain. If anything, the DITS module is probably better related to the service value system diagram, of which the service value chain is a component. The service value chain was, or rather the scope of each of the books was mapped to the service value chain, because the service value chain is very much a mental model of what work is done. So that was more related to, and that's why the MP modules, which are more focused to managers, people who are designing and managing work systems of work, need to take into account how they might interact with stakeholders, how they might measure effectiveness, how they might create an efficient flow of work, so on and so forth. Digital IT strategy, it's a separate learning stream. It doesn't map to the service value chain, maps to something bigger, which is the service value system. And so in the digital IT strategy book, you will be reading things like how to create the appropriate governance structures, how to use continual improvement as a basis of strategy development, and so on.
And thank you. Actually, there is a follow-up question from the same person asking how to map it then to the service value system that you mentioned. How do we map then digital and IT strategy to the service value system?
I'm not sure I understand the question. I mean, the digital IT strategy book, as I just said, the digital IT strategy book talks about things like governance. It talks about using the guiding principles to create large-scale organizational change. It talks about how to use continual improvement as a model to manage strategy cycles, all of which are components of the service value system.
So in that instance, it maps to all of it.
It maps to the service value system, which is a larger concept than just the service value chain.
Thank you for the answer. If it's not clear, you can always come back. No, I see Rocky now says, yeah, it looks okay.
Oh,
okay. Thank you. Again, many people are asking about translations in German or Spanish. As Gemma said, in I don't know, a few days, maybe a few weeks, you will receive more information.
Yeah, more news.
Another question is whether DPI exam is a prerequisite for becoming a strategic leader, or MP transition is sufficient?
There are two separate questions. So if you are looking to just get the strategic leader qualification, then you will need DPI and DITS. Oops, sorry, Gemma, I said DITS. I shouldn't have said DITS.
That's okay.
If, on the other hand, you're coming in through managing professional transition, then if you achieve managing professional designation through the transition exam, then we will in effect give you credit, quote unquote, for having passed the full direct plan and improve exam. So for those people coming in from ITIL version 3 using MP transition, the path would be MP transition to get the MP certification, and then digital IT strategy to get strategic leader.
Just to let you know, this is also in the FAQs as well. So please refer to FAQs. We are making a couple of updates. There will be a new set of FAQs available, but the current ones also sort of explain that as well, and the different routes.
Another question, no, it's not a question, it's a comment actually. Someone says, in my opinion, Axelos should consider if from a didactical aspect, was it a good idea to name the operation of value system as chain? Okay, we will take this into consideration. Thanks for the feedback.
Thank you.
And someone is asking how many people who already took the digital IT strategy exam were genuinely CSUT candidates. Do we have any figure?
I haven't got that information to hand.
Not hard figures, but what I can say is, at least from a beta testing point of view, we ran 4 beta sessions around the world.
Yeah.
We took people like a regular class through the whole course with the assessments, with the exams. Off the top of my head, I think about 2/3 of each class were VPs of IT, CIOs, senior decision makers in their own right. I don't have any stats about what's happened in the last 3 weeks since digital IT strategy was launched, but anecdotally, I'd say about 2/3 of the people we tested it with were decision makers, if not CXOs.
Yeah, that was the sort of prerequisite that we in choosing our beta candidates to make sure they were the right seniority for the module target audience.
Okay, thanks for the answer. Another one is whether the beautiful graphics that Gemma had in her presentation will become available as JPEG or PNG files.
Yeah, so the 4 Magic Professional Worlds should already be available as JPEGs on the portal. I think I don't know if I've supplied the digital and IT strategy one separately, so I will check after this, and if not, Vasilis, I can get that over to you to upload. And then, as I said, there'll be infographic coming, the animation, and then the updated messages for the other animations. And then we've got some other assets in the pipeline. But one thing that would actually be great as well is if there's any assets in particular that you would like to sort of support us or would like us to sort of develop as well, that would be quite helpful to understand. Because we've got the booklet, the fact sheet, but if there's any other types of things that you require, then we can explore whether we can create those as well. I think maybe
thank you, Gemma.
The BDM managers or the territory brand managers at Axelos. You could feed that through to them.
That's a very good opportunity, Gemma, to mention that today we also uploaded in our partners area, in PeopleCert partners area, the digital and IT strategy tables coming from the manuscript. Those can be used to build your own courseware, and it was something that was asked by multiple ATOs. So yeah, now they are available. You can find them in PeopleCert partners area.
Nice
I don't.
Segue there.
I don't see any other question.
I do have a couple more. Oh, I was just going to say there's a couple more slides I just wanted to highlight before we finish. If there aren't any more questions, I can quickly show you those.
Just to answer one thing that just popped up, someone is asking whether the problems with the certification process for the strategic leaders have been fixed. I can answer this for PeopleCert. Yes, we identified the problem and we are now looking into it. I think it's a matter of maybe hours or maximum a day or two to fix that. Thanks for the feedback. It was mainly for those who already got the Managing Professional Transition module, and then they took the digital and IT strategy in order to have the strategic leader designation. There was a technical issue that we're now fixing. Yeah, Jim, I don't see anything else. So maybe you can show us your slides.
Highlight some resources. So these are the main campaign URLs, and they're in all the messaging matrix files too, but I've just listed them out here for you. I just also wanted to show, so since the times of not being able to attend events face to face, we have been doing a series of webinars, panel webinars, these are all the available ones on demand. The first one is ITIL 4 and the 4 pillars of digital transformation, which actually presented, it was back in March. So that would be a good one to listen back to in relation to the slides I've just kind of briefly discussed today. Also, this is the ITIL 4 Lean and Agiles around create, deliver and support. And each of these actually all of them have a panel of either authors, if it's a module related one, or we've got a panel of sort of senior kind of end users in. So that's the engaging, empowering, enabling employees. That's a panel of sort of senior end users. And the difficulty of value management one, that's a very interesting discussion. I think Akshay, you had a lot of chats around what is value, and that would be a good one to listen back to.
Absolutely.
Also,
I'd also like to just say, if anyone has ideas for panel discussions based on feedback they're getting from their clients, etc., if there are common threads or common patterns that we're seeing around the world, then it absolutely makes sense to address it through a panel discussion, a podcast, whatever it might be. So please do keep the ideas coming in.
Yeah, and actually this would go back to the question about sort of promote or helping to support ATOs with promotions, and these are the kind of assets that are really helpful, because we can record them and then you can listen back and you can pick out some key messages from sort of the live discussions. So the ITIL 4 Lean Agile and the ITIL 4 Strategist, that's with the lead authors. Applying ITIL 4 practices for digital strategy, that's around the new practices within digital IT strategy module, and that's with Roman, David Cannon, and Antonina Klensova, so two of the contributing authors to that book. And then as Akshay said, the value management and engaging, empowering, these are more focused on key topic trends that are out there. And so, as he said, please do share anything, because we'd be happy to run those on because they're very engaging conversations. And just the last thing, we've just released these recent case studies. I thought I'd just highlight this because the CERN one went live the other day, Vodafone went live last month, the value stream mapping at Equality Italia went live last month. So and I think University of Oxford was August. So I just wanted to highlight those now so you can see that there's some new case studies. But please do keep an eye on our Axos Hub, Content Hub, because that's where all of our content is released. And not just to mention that my ITIL does have exclusive content, which any candidate who takes an ITIL exam would get access to my ITIL. So that's another kind of value add for selling foundation. And I think that's everything. Yes.
Gemma, someone is asking whether these links are in the partners portal, where they can find them.
So I will supply this PowerPoint as a PDF, and then you'll have all the links within the deck, as well as the links to those studies and surveys that I highlighted at the beginning of the presentation. You can have a read separately as well. So I guess, Vasilis, you'll put that into just in the root of the partner portal, maybe?
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, so then they'll all be embedded then.
Actually, I think this is a question for you, probably the last one, because we still have a minute or less. Is it okay if an organization would not like to adopt ITIL 4, if it's okay to adopt V3?
The question has two interpretations. So I think I'd first request what interpretation I should be using. Is it ITIL V3 from a certifications point of view, or ITIL V3 from a knowledge and working practices perspective?
It's not clear from the question.
Okay, well, I will speculate then, and I will provide an answer. From a point of view of certifications, look, ITIL version 3 is still a live product, as it were. We are working with PeopleCert to figure out the best timing to start talking about retirement or sunsetting. We've not made any announcements yet, and we will be providing at least 6 months notice before we start doing anything, really. So it is a live product, and if you're seeing traction in the market, who am I say no to making a sale? Having said that, at some point, ITIL V3 will go away. It's a given. It's a question of when, not if. So if your clients are willing to spend enough money to get people to 17 points and then take MP transition and transition across, I would suggest that they're possibly throwing good money away by investing in ITIL version 3 at this point in time. But having said that, again, for people who are close to 17 points, to continue down the learning journey to get to the 17 points and take MP transition is a very logical choice as well. From a content perspective, ITIL v3 continues to provide value to thousands of organizations around the world and hundreds of thousands of practitioners. We're not trying to take any of that away either. But at some point, organizations, so at a personal level, at some point, recruiters and people who are looking to make hires are going to start asking for more up-to-date qualifications. And they will start, we are already seeing a lot of job postings starting to talk about ITIL 4. So at a personal level, at some point, I'd say you'd want to start moving over. From an organizational perspective, sure, the way ITIL version 3 viewed the world, the models that it had, can still provide value, but you have to keep in mind that the models were first introduced in 2007, so that was 13 years ago, and there was an update in 2011, so 9 years ago. ITIL 4 has effectively created a refresh, an evolution rather than a replacement of what ITIL version 3 provided. And we designed ITIL 4 to be a lot more relevant to the way organizations are working today or attempting to work today. So from a technical point of view, whilst ITIL version 3 still does provide good guidance, I would say ITIL 4 is an evolution of that guidance, reflecting the lessons of the last 10 plus years. So I would still recommend looking at ITIL 4 at some point. I hope that made sense to whomever asked the question.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I think we're 3 minutes late, so maybe we can wrap this up. There's no question in the chat. Thanks everyone for being with us today. Thank you, Gemma, for your engaging presentation. Thank you, Akshay, for all the answers you provided. I wish you a nice day, afternoon, or evening, depending on your time zone. Thanks a lot.
Take care, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you for your time. Bye.